My name is David James and I'm the founder of Harmony and Creativity, which is a creative writing school based in Athens, Greece. We have plans to expand into other European cities as well, but for the time being we're offering courses in English and Greek. So today I'm going to talk to you about a certain model of character development in literature. This particular model is based on three types of characters: the protagonist, the ally or partner, and the antagonist. It's a very flexible model. You can either adopt it as it is or adapt it to suit your own purposes. So let me explain what each one of these character types is. Let's start with the protagonist. Of course, the protagonist is the main character in a work of fiction. And the protagonist is usually a virtuous person who may also have some shortcomings for good measure. He's the main character in our story, as we said before, and the story essentially tracks his journey towards achieving his goal. Now, this goal might be different from one person to another. So somebody might be looking for love, somebody else might be looking for fame and fortune, somebody else might be looking for spiritual enlightenment, and someone else might be trying to get his own back as somebody who hurt him in the past. Whatever the case might be, the protagonist is usually the most important person in your story, and you want it to be that way. Another important character is the ally or partner. Now, this type of character is somebody who will either try to help the protagonist achieve his goal, or who will become their partner in the course of the story. So they might have a relationship together. So if the ally is just a person who tries to help the protagonist, then what happens in the course of the story is it gives the writer the opportunity to explore the dynamics of friendship and solidarity. If the ally is an erotic partner, then it enables the writer to delve into the mysteries of love and chemistry. The final type of character is the antagonist. As the name indicates, the antagonist is somebody who opposes the protagonist. Somebody who tries to destroy him, or somebody who tries to derail him from achieving his goal. The antagonist is usually a villain, but he doesn't have to be a purely evil person. The antagonist, although he may have bad intentions at heart, should also have some good qualities. For example, they might have personal charm and charisma. They may have stunning good looks, or they may be fond of a person of the same sex, of a friend, let's say. So that makes them more interesting and more human. Now, let's look at some examples from literature. The first one is The Great Gatsby, the famous novel written by Scott Fitzgerald. In this novel, we have quite a few important characters, but I'm going to single out three now. The first one is, of course, Jay Gatsby, the protagonist, who is essentially a person who's managed to transform his life. He started out poor, but then in the course of his life, he had attained fame and fortune. So he managed to extricate himself from poverty and obscurity. And so the reader is supposed to admire him for having accomplished all those things. But at the same time, he's less than perfect, because his goal is to win back his early life sweetheart, Daisy. But to do so, he has to get her away from her husband, Tom Buchanan. And he tries to do so without regard for Tom's feelings or for Daisy's children's welfare. So he behaves selfishly, trying to achieve his goal. The ally in that person is Nick Carraway, the narrator of the story. Now, the ally has both good qualities and bad qualities, but usually in equal measure. And that's for a very good reason. We don't want the ally upstaging the protagonist. We want the protagonist to be the most important character and the most admirable character as well. So Nick may have good intentions at heart, but he actually acts as a pimp, procuring Daisy for Gatsby. And also he starts a relationship with Jordan, who is a frivolous society girl. So he shows lack of initiative and maybe poor judgment as well. Finally, in The Great Gatsby, Tom Buchanan plays the role of the antagonist. Tom is, of course, the villain of the piece, but despite the fact that he's motivated by bad feelings and intentions, he doesn't actually cause harm as his wife Daisy does. He doesn't kill anyone intentionally or unintentionally. And despite the fact that he's cool and selfish, at the end of the novel he gets back together with Daisy and he saves their marriage. So although he is a fallible human being, he's not purely evil. He's a person like most of us with good qualities and bad qualities. And it's important to have an antagonist who is a complex person with a multifaceted personality, because that makes him more fully human and more interesting. I would like to give another example, and that's the novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey. In this novel we have three characters which fall into the model that I'm using here. The protagonist, who is McMurphy, then the ally, who is the chief, and the antagonist, who is Nurse Ratched. Of course, all three of these characters have both good qualities and bad qualities. They're a mixture of both, and again that makes the novel more interesting and more convincing. So for example, despite the fact that Nurse Ratched is the antagonist, deep down she's a deeply insecure person. She feels very lonely, and she tries to alleviate her emptiness by controlling the lives of the inmates of the lunatic asylum where she works. So that's the model that I anticipated for you today. Now I want us to finish with a creative writing exercise. Sit down and try to create a scene where all these three characters, the protagonist, the ally or partner, and the antagonist, are involved. Have the protagonist and the antagonist clash over whatever it is that is at stake in your story, and then have the ally come to the aid of the protagonist to save the day, so to speak. That could be directly by becoming involved in an encounter between the protagonist and the antagonist, or indirectly, maybe by revealing a secret, or by somehow helping the protagonist keep the antagonist at bay. Remember to use a lot of dialogue, because dialogue can portray your character's inner qualities. And when you have finished this exercise, it will help you determine the identity of the main characters of your piece. So when you actually start writing the beginning of your story, you will have a very clear picture of who your characters are and where you want your story to go. So this is the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching. Watch out for more videos from Harmony and Creativity. Bye.